Hi everyone, Sabrina from Campbell's Freedom Farm, and let's talk botanical gardens. Some of the greatest botanical gardens started because of the dream of just one person or maybe a couple people, such as Ray Lambert from the San Antonio Japanese Tea Garden, or Mr. and Mrs. Mercer from the Mercer Arboretum and Botanical Garden. So was it a surprise when philanthropist H.J. Lucher Stark in 1946 opened the gardens to his own private residence, the Shangri La Botanical Garden. He had all these beautiful azaleas and he really wanted to show the world. And was it a success? Yeah, it was a great success when people came from all around to see it. But what is a surprise was his inspiration. He had read a novel, The Lost Horizon, and inside that novel were lost and mystical retreats, and he wanted to recreate. And because of his love for nature, his creativity, and his appreciation for the arts, he had a successful arboretum, almost a fairy tale. But with every fairy tale, there's a really bad ending. And in 1958, a devastating snowstorm hit the gardens. Now, this garden is located very south on the border of Louisiana and in Texas. It's in Orange, Texas. So to have a snowstorm was very unusual. It killed most of the plants. So did he rebuild? No. He decided to let Mother Nature take its course. Maybe it was too much. We don't know. But 50 years later, with some help then, it reopened. It reopened as the Shangri La Botanical Gardens and Nature Center. Now, I've never been here, but from what I understand, this botanical garden is all about learning and experiences, and it's free. And it's odd to think that the Japanese Tea Garden and the Mercer Gardens are also free. All wonderful botanical gardens. So there's 252 acres. And besides that, I was told after this to go to the Stark Museum, which is also free, and then come back for the light show. It's a Christmas stroll. So let's go experience this together. Shall we go?
The first thing that you want to do is get your ticket for the guided outpost tour of Adams Bayou. It's an amazing boat ride and it's free. We decided to go to the Nature Discovery Center, which is in a swamp, the most amazing views. And here, everything is hands-on learning. It's wonderful. Fun facts of the camphor tree. It's used for an insect repellent, but did you know it's used for the famous smoked duck? Let's talk greenhouses. One of the greenhouses is a display greenhouse that has planted permanently tropical plants. And the second one is a classroom greenhouse that's set up with potting benches and workshops for students. One of the greenhouses that I really wanted to see was the epiphyte greenhouse. This is the greenhouse that holds all the plants that grow on other plants, but yet they're not parasitic, such as ferns, air plants, and orchids. And the one plant that I really wanted to see is the vanilla orchid. You know, the really expensive vanilla bean that's in all the wonderful dishes. I wanted to see the environment that it was growing because I really want to grow this orchid. All right, the edible garden is my cup of tea. I'm always showing you edible landscapes and how to build them. This has a whole section, beautifully landscaped, of edible plants, and they're in season for whatever time of the year it is. So you could have cold weather vegetables, tomatoes, the list goes on. And what's great is sometimes they have the opportunity to taste some of the food that they grow. All right, in the edibles garden, there are a variety of plants that are self-pollinating and have low chill hours, because remember, we're really south. So they have, let's say, the star fruit or the olive trees, and for me, the big variety of fig trees that they have was wonderful. The Brazilian cherry is one of the most expensive woods you could buy, and the fruit is amazing. So I was so impressed to see that. The Dancing Sisters bottle tree sculpture, when I read about it, I was so impressed by the history of this. I didn't know where it came from or what it meant. I do now. We have a demonstration beehive between April through October, and you can learn all about the bees and how important they are. If you're hungry, go to the Crescent Moon concessions. Grab a snack and just sit outside and look around. And maybe read the history on where the name came from. They have 3 demonstration wetlands and an aeration pond. Now remember, freshwater wetlands could remove pollutions, whether it's animal, human, or absorb chemical pollutions. It's a great learning experience. Beautiful Tree Ring Plaza has 2 frog ponds, and originally they were used as water lily pools. Make sure you read the signs along the way. I mean, this shows the inspiration that Mr. Stark had, or it could just be information on a specific plant. Along the perennial strip, there are 5 garden rooms, and these are really important because Mr. Stark wanted us to see the basic elements of art. These include line, texture, shape, contrast, and color. There's also a hanging garden, and also along Ruby Lake, there is a Heronry Blind where you can learn and view birds. It's amazing. You also see the island they're building called the Habitat Restoration Project. The Pond of the Blue Moon, we get to see the Cypress Gate, which, by the way, was salvaged cypress logs that are 60 foot from Hurricane Rita, and also the Angled Boardwalk. Look hard. This is a crimson pitcher carnivorous plant. I was excited to see it. Also along the perennial strip, you get to see the camellias and Mr. Stark's beloved azaleas. It's along here that we find the 4 sculpture gardens where we see stainless steel sculptures. These are to let you experience space and place. Stepped into the Discovery Theater for a quick movie, but then we found floors that are made out of corn and walls from recycled materials. Are we surprised? No. Shangri La was selected as one of the greenest projects in the world. All right, before we take our boat ride, I want to go over the cypress trees they have. They have the pond, and one of them is 1,200 years old, and then they have the bald. Now, how do you tell the difference? Well, let's look at their knees. You know, that wood sticking out? The pond has rounded knees, while the bald has really pointed. It's odd, but they really don't know what the purpose of the knees are. I assume since they're in a water area, it helps them breathe. Another difference between the 2 cypress trees is that the bald cypress goes straight up and loses the branches as it grows, while the pond cypress stays low and branches out. It's actually really beautiful how it cascades over the water. All right, we're headed back, and I have to say the Shangri La Botanical Garden is one of the most educational botanical gardens I've been to. And the staff was so helpful, whether it was paid or volunteered. And actually, Orange, Texas has the free Stark Museum of Art. Everything's free. I mean, we really appreciate it.